Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake goes by.
Wake your fuck ass up. That crust out your eye.
Make some noise!
Bringing the concert to you. It's the Sway in the Morning concert series.
Your favorite artists performing live.
On Shade 45.
11 minutes into the hour, have the beat. This is one of my favorite parts of our show that we do. Call it the Sway in the Morning concert series because it allows us to introduce you to artists from a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times we hear the end result of a lot of effort and work that people put into their artistry, but you don't always hear the building blocks that take it to get to that end result. So we do the concert series, so you can meet artists on not just in that how you will meet them normally on their videos or in their interviews. You can meet them up direct and let them do their art form, let them express themselves live on this show. Oh, yeah, that's what this is all about. And this next artist has been speaking to generations
for 5,000 years,
just like I have. We've been on similar paths, you know, where we just try to expose the matrix, you know, give you that alternative way of thinking, you know, and some people may consider him a weirdo. He may even say it himself, but I think he's present and he's extremely aware, and he's always been this way since when I first saw him in Slam.
Yes,
you know, years ago, you know, when I first saw him do what they call it spoken word or they call it street poetry, but I just call it conversation, expressing his thoughts. And since then, he's been on Broadway. He's an author. He's an artist. He's a father. We also met because of our kids
in school together.
Years ago when they were little infants. Now. Yep. How old is your child now?
19,
she's 19.
college.
Mine's 17.
Wow.
Damn. We got to talk. He's here today with his new project, Martyr, Loser, King. The one and only Saul Williams is here, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
Welcome.
How you been, Saul?
I'm beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I'm here with you.
Yeah.
Heather. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Tracy, it's wonderful to be here.
It's great,
wonderful
right?
to be here.
One of the first things you said is, I'm glad I finally got you on the show. You said, yeah, you got to have the weirdos. And then even though you were joking, but that's kind of how people perceived you early on. Would you agree? Or
Well, I think it's just that, you know, I definitely decided to keep it left field.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, and it's not so much of a decision to keep it left field. It's just that the mission has always been, like you said, to like elevate the game, to elevate consciousness, and not necessarily to get so caught up in the industry nonsense that it makes you conform. You know, whether it's conforming your style, conforming your message, or what have you. Like, my heroes are fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And thank goodness for Jimi Hendrix and his weirdness. Thank goodness for Fela keeping it strange and all the weird people that kept it strange over the ages. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I say keep it strange. I'm also kind of playing. It's like self-deprecating, you know, in a sense. But at the same time, I believe that we're presenting, you know, the freshest stuff that's out there.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? And and the compliment is the people that are, you know, imitating it.
yeah. Imitating. I like that. Imitating.
I like that.
Batteries not
baby.
included.
Batteries not included. I think that's what Macklemore and Ryan Lewis's song was all about, right? White privilege too had a lot to do with that. Right? Not sure if you heard that song.
I
Yes,
heard
Saul.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. What did you
yeah,
think of that?
Honestly, I'm thinking more about people like Tef Poe out of Ferguson. I'm thinking I like you notice how I just skipped it.
Yeah,
I'm not.
We noticed.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know what I have to say really about something like that. On the one hand, I think the intentions are there.
Yeah.
It's another thing to utilize that privilege, to talk about privilege and to bank on that privilege and earn from that privilege while you talk about that privilege is what it is. I mean, that's part of the elements of the system. If an artist like myself gets up talking about white privilege, then it's like, okay, we've heard this before. And so then you hear someone else, you know, who's is classified as white talking about that. And it's like, oh, this is the most progressive thing ever. And I mean, we're out here to destroy the system, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the process. I really have nothing to say about it, other than the fact that, you know, I read a few reviews that were like, if there were I have no reason to go there. I have no reason to go there. I want to talk about Kanye and Wiz. Let's talk.
You want to talk about Kanye and Wiz? More important things.
Honestly, I have no reason to go to any of those places. It's like it's about the music.
Yeah.
It's about the role that art can play to transform society.
Yes.
And all of that is part of the process. You know what I'm saying? And so if you have like challenges being thrown at you, I think at the end of the day, it's wonderful to try to approach those things constructively. And so, good for him. Do what you do.
What about you? Like you've always spoke to us with from a powerful perspective to me that made us always think. Does messaging become, because sound becomes trendy, things you hear now sonically, you didn't hear a couple years ago, things from a couple years ago. You
hear it all the time now.
Yeah, does the messaging become moves and cycles and trends? Like right now, is it a good time for?
Well, it depends, like it's funny. I always get classified as someone, who's messaging certain things, but my message wouldn't come out if I didn't package it in a certain style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm a stylist. I'm more in the tradition of like, Kool Keith and Andre 3000 in terms of like the weirdness of the style that I'm trying to present. It's packaged, like the message is built into it because that's the stuff that's on my mind and that's what I want to talk about. But yes, this is a time obviously where we're ultra concerned about, ideas and disrupting the system. I mean, we have Black Lives Matter out there. We have candidates like Bernie Sanders talking about socialism and destroying the 1%. These are, highly politicized times. So exactly, it does pay off to have a say about, all of these topics. And I think people are listening more so than they were in the past. But when it comes to music and art, it's going to be style, packaging, presentation that cuts through. I know a lot of like quote unquote conscious rappers who wonder why they don't have the following that they could, and they think they should because they're saying important things,
right.
But their flow is boring.
That's the truth.
You know what I'm saying? And they think that people should be listening because their content is so packed, but their flow is boring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they wonder why the other stuff sells the way it does, but because that flow is all over the place.
Yeah.
And we're into that. We want to feel that. And so for me, it's always been about that balance between style and content. And so, but the merging of that is seamless enough so that, maybe you walk away talking about the content. Like, did you hear when he said that? But like I said, you wouldn't hear when I said it if I didn't package it in a way that didn't cut through all the other people playing with the same content, perhaps, but not, approaching it stylistically.
So what do you focus on first then when you look at the priority?
It's all on the same playing field. You know what I'm saying? I wake up, I shower, I put on clothes and like, okay, what am I gonna wear for the day? That's style, right? And then I sit down to read. And so, my son cracks me up like I'm reading a book. He doesn't like the cover. He's like, I wouldn't be seen reading that book because the cover is corny. You know what I'm saying? The cover is corny.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's about he's sitting there thinking like, I look good reading this book. I know that style. I was into that as a kid. Like, I look fresh reading this book. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the content of the book is what's feeding me.
Yeah.
So how do I find the balance? It's like I think it's we all have to find different ways to find a balance. If I spend all of my time consumed with the nonsense on social media, not clicking on the articles, but just clicking on the gossip and all that type of stuff, I'm filling my mind with nonsense, and my consciousness is going to reflect that. So I just have to find a balance, in life every day.
Absolutely.
Saul Williams is here. Martyr, Loser, King. You want to talk with him? 888-742-3345. We're going to come back and have him do some things live.
A word?
Yeah,
nice.
But we got something for you right here. We're going to drop on their heads. Alyssa Demands, kid. Yeah. Saul Williams.
God's just a baby and a diaper is wet.
Sway in the Morning, Shade 45. Martin Luther King is the new album. It's available right now.
Yeah.
There's been some really leaps and strides. You done Broadway. You did the Holla If You Hear Me on Broadway. And what was that about? I didn't get a chance to catch it.
Yeah. Essentially, it was a play that was conceptualized by August Wilson and Afeni Shakur. Yeah. And so, like, right after Pac died, Afeni Shakur approached August Wilson. He started collecting all of his music and decided to write a story, not on Tupac's life, but taking all. It's like if you took all of his text and made a story and restricted yourself to only using his text. And so it was a story of a kid who gets out of prison, comes home, tries to straighten up his life, and gets caught up there and ends up changing himself and changing his neighborhood. And really what it was about was gun violence in the Midwest. And the irony is that it was kind of like too political for Broadway, and the week that we ended, the next week was when Michael Brown was killed. And that's exactly what the play was about.
Wow.
That's exactly what the play was about. Gun violence in the Midwest, police brutality and all that. But, cats were choosing between, like, Rocky the musical and stuff like that.
Holla If You Hear Me. Text by Tupac. What about I got a chance. Heather and I actually went to see Hamilton.
Yeah.
And incredible. Would you do Hamilton?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, no. I mean, my background is really theater, and a lot of my friends are in Hamilton. In fact, Chris Jackson, who played opposite me in Holler If You Hear Me, is one of the stars of Hamilton. And yeah, I come from theater. I come from musical theater. In fact, when I was conceptualizing Martin Luther King initially, I was conceptualizing it as a musical. It's turned into. It's also this is like a multimedia thing. So it's like there's also a graphic novel that comes out a year from now when the second half of the album comes out, and then there's a film side of this project as well. Martin Luther King is the screen name of a hacker who lives in Burundi, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, Hamilton is fresh. I love the idea of hip-hop taking over Broadway. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. It's affected our approach to songwriting,
That's what I wanted to ask you about, if you could share with the fellow songwriters that listen to this show. I find myself just personally, like, I'll go in a coat pocket and I'll just, like, find a line, and I'm just like, then I'll go in the kitchen and I'll find something, I jot it down, and it's like, when do you find a time to, like, piece it all together, like the discipline that comes with writing, with so many people just always bragging about, and Sway and I talk about it all the time, going in the studio and just sort of
laying stuff down and not writing
and not writing, and you hear the difference. Like, how do you find the discipline and the time to put those pieces together?
The main thing I used to do was I used to go to Urban Outfitters back in the day, buy those $5 journals and keep them in my back pocket. And at that time, I was like hitting like whatever, the clubs back in the day. And I'd be on the dance floor writing, because my biggest epiphanies came often on the dance floor when the music was fresh and I'm out there. I was just like, oh my God, I'd have some idea and jot it down on the dance floor, on the subway, like keep it moving. I was always someone who felt like, like any time is a good time to write. I could excuse myself from a conversation or just from some nonsense in a conversation, just be like, hold up, one second. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I remember like being at Summer Stage one time and seeing Fela's son, Femi Kuti, perform, and they had this Egyptian group open up for them, and they were late coming from JFK, and they arrived late and had dust on their clothes. And I was like, they have dust on their clothes, but they just came from the airport. That's Egyptian dust. And the music started, and it sounded like break beats with cats singing Arabic over it. Wow. And I was like, yo, these cats threw basement parties in pyramids. And so then I pull out my journal, like, we threw basement parties in pyramids. I left my tag on the wall. But it's like, it's just stuff like that. It's like, yo, an epiphany, yo, don't lose that. Now I find myself less superstitious about losing ideas, letting them come and go. I used to have that sense of like, I have to pull out my journal all the time, It's like people who pull out their phones all the time and what have you. And so I've become less superstitious about that, because I realized that those ideas evolve, and so I can say, that's fresh. I don't have to write it down yet. I can still play with it in my mind and get back to it later, and either it'll come back or not. But either way, the hardest thing about writing is sitting down to write.
Right.
Saul Williams has joined us.
Saul, I'm wondering, because I've always heard about people who reside at a very high level of artistry are also a little insane.
Okay.
Do you ever feel that way about
What are you
yourself?
trying to say? I appreciate the compliment. You're trying to say
Saul's
you're trying to
crazy.
say I'm operating at a high level of artistry. I
You're
appreciate
giving me
that.
like genius vibes in a sense. And for some reason, hearing you speak is reminding me, we had August Alsina that was sitting in your seat before, and he said how he feels like he needs to have a level of darkness in order to create wonderful things.
I do operate as well from a level of so-called darkness, but all that means is that I'm thinking about what's happening in Haiti. I'm thinking about what's happening in Burundi. I'm thinking about what's happening in Baltimore or Cleveland or Ferguson. I'm thinking about the troubles of the world and not necessarily giving myself the escape. You know, entertainment has been aligned with escapism over the years. It's not always aligned with escapism. When Public Enemy was pumping stuff, it wasn't aligned with escapism. But you know, like, but some would simply align it with escapism, and if it's not there to make you forget about everything, then it's not there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bob Marley wouldn't agree with that. Nina Simone wouldn't agree with that, but certain people would. So I definitely operate from a place where I do contemplate things that are going on. I love having great conversations and gaining insights about things that are going on, and I try to apply that to my work. But as far as the idea of being insane, it's easy to label someone as, you know, the sort of capitalism that we label as sanity, the sort of like, you know, go for self, go for delf, and business mentality, and, you know, that is all about exploitation and all about taking advantage of others that we label as sanity is not actually that sane. And so we have to be careful about what we're labeling sane and insane, because a lot of the stuff that we value is not really, you know, in honor of humanity, in honor of our own growth. And so it's true that a lot of our revolutionaries would be labeled as insane. You know what I'm saying? The FBI tried to play with that with Martin Luther King.
Come on.
You know, they tried to convince him to commit suicide. Like, are you crazy? Do you really think this could happen? Da, 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 da. So that's a tool that's used, essentially, you know?
Well put.
Saul Williams here. Martin Luther King. That's the name of the project. It's out now, man. Can we hear something live from the project?
You want it? All right, cool.
Yeah,
Let's do
go
it.
Hard,
Let's go. This is called Roach Eggs.
Okay.
Martin Luther King.
Sway in the morning. Saul Williams.
Roach Eggs.
Hyenas.
Hey.
Hey.
Woke up in the morning, high off the internet. 5 million followers now on the internet. I on the internet. I on the internet. I on the internet. I on the internet. Hacking to religion. 5 billion followers. Bitches, slaves, and Indians. 5 billion followers. 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 Martin Luther Kingdom. Roach egg economy. Spread like superstition. Roach egg economy. 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 They approach a boat in reddish paint. Naked they were staring at our robes and garments, giving thanks. Down from the sky, down from the sky. They seem to think we care. Here we go. Roach eggs. Hey. 2016, Michael with a cigarette. Make a nigga pop, but how pop can a nigga get? Basquiat, king of pop. Make a nigga boom, boom. Spin around, hat tip down, walk over the moon. Moon days of the ways of the face of the samurai. Falcon on my shoulder, but you know I'm on that eagle high. Eyes of America, everybody looking. TV on the radio, knowledge in a book, and God of the internet, hack us, God of the internet, God of Damascus. You don't have to ask us, you could just do it. Light blink red and I ran right through it. Matte black Tesla, tank full of hydrogen. Pop that Hester, open my eyes, it's my computer in front of me, in front of my computer. I'm typing all my thoughts as if I couldn't think them sooner. Now she's just a night bird floating through your kingdom come. Wrecked and pirate Jenny on a plenty on that Nina sun. Open city wandering, spinning Sufi wandering. Tuareg and Fulani like the Roma, bitch I'm wandering. Tag up in the Vatican, nah nigga, not that again. Poems on the subway with some change up in my hat again. Bitches think I'm nagging them, snitches think I'm tattling. Preachers think I'm preaching while the teachers think I'm cheating. I'm just speaking. Hey, hey. They approach the boat in reddish paint. Yo, that shit, I gotta tell you a little something about this line here that goes like this. I was reading Columbus's journal. I didn't know he kept a journal, and he wrote verbatim when he went to Haiti. They approached a boat in reddish paint. Naked, they were staring at our robes and garments, giving thanks. Down from the sky, down from the sky, they seemed to think we came. Yeah. Oh. Roach eggs. Oh. But yeah, I was tripping out over like, thank you.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Saul Williams. Martin Luther King. Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
Okay. So you were reading a journal.
I didn't know Columbus kept a motherfucking journal.
Me either.
Yeah.
None of us know that, right? Why don't they teach us that in school? So he kept a journal. And that shit is like reading science fiction.
Christopher
Because he's
Columbus.
arriving at these islands, like describing what they're wearing and all this stuff. Also, the fact that, you know, so they had a cannon on their ship. Yeah. And so they had never, so all he had to do was like fire the cannon up in the air and the people would like be like, what the fuck was that? And then he traveled with like 900 horses in those ships. And horses weren't on those islands or the continent yet.
Right.
And so when they would get dressed up in their best attire to exit the ship on those horses, and the indigenous would be like, what the fuck is that animal?
Yeah.
And so, and so it was just a freaking me out. And so, so anyway, it's a story about when they reached the island of Haiti. You know, and that's the original name, Haiti. The original name of the island is Haiti.
Haiti.
You know,
okay.
And so he's describing how they approached the boat in little canoes. And he was like, they approached the boat in reddish paint. Naked, they were staring at our robes and garments, giving thanks. Down from the sky, they seemed to think we came. Yeah, that's what sparked that whole idea for this song.
Kanye got your phone number?
Kanye's had my phone number.
Oh, wow.
Kanye's had my phone number for a long time.
Have y'all worked there?
Yeah, we worked on 808 on Love Lockdown. And then you know. And then I did Niggy Stardust a few years before he did Yeezus. So that wasn't necessarily technical work. But
influential work.
I'm just saying.
Saul Williams.
But no,
baby.
he came to the shows and was like, I have 10 people on stage. You have 4. I don't understand why your sound sounds this way. Then he flew my DJ CX Kidtronic out to Hawaii and, you know, along with the Estero and my girl Aja Monet, and was like, you know, he definitely like knows me and my friends and
your
you
work.
know, and our work for sure.
Okay. Do you go?
That album comes out on the 11th. My album came out just Friday.
Yeah.
I'm sure that cats.
Do you
like,
ghostwrite for anybody?
You know, no, I don't ghostwrite. Yeah. In fact, working with Kanye was the only time that I've actually like played around with that idea. Before that, no. I've never ghostwritten for anybody. I'm down though.
Yeah.
I'm totally down. I would love to ghostwrite.
Saul Williams. We got Damon on the line from New Mexico. What up, Dame?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sway. Good morning, Tracy G. Good morning, Heather B.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Williams, I just wanted to call you and tell you about a life experience. You changed my life about 20 years ago. I met you in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You were competing against Sherman and Lexi.
That was a beautiful time in Taos, New Mexico. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And I was dating a young lady that was there to see him, and I was there to see you. And you did a poem. They gave you a word. They said, take the word weave and make a poem. And you talked about interracial relationships. And by the end of the night, we broke up because she was a mixed woman that thought she was black but was really white. And she couldn't see eye to eye with black men dating white women. So you ended that relationship. I got married.
Word.
Yeah, you changed my life. And I'm living in New Mexico now, and I think about you all the time because I'm here. And I'm like, why they don't have that competition here anymore?
Man, I don't know why they don't have that competition. I'm sorry that things went down the way they did, but it was a beautiful experience for me. For those who don't know, Taos, New Mexico, Taos Pueblo, there's several places. There's tons of shout out to the First Nation and all the res life and reservations around the country and on the continent in Canada. Taos Pueblo was one of the first reservations I visited here in the States. I still have my buffalo skin moccasins that I got from there that I still sport. You know what I'm saying?
What's the experience like there?
Well, you talk about indigenous lives matter.
Yeah.
Big time, right? And those First Nation, people that are still here amongst us are amongst the most strong, intelligent, suppressed by the system, but resilient people that I've encountered on this continent. In fact, that's what that song was about, essentially. You know what I'm saying? The idea of roach eggs, and the idea of another song where I say I'm a candle, chop my neck 1,000,000 times, I still burn bright and stand. You can't kill us all.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You can't kill us all. You know what I'm saying? And so there you'll see some of the ruins of the ancient empires and what have you. This stuff that we should be studying. We should all know that. We're in America.
Yeah.
We're on their land. We should all know that. We should be paying homage to all of the First Nation, stuff that exists still in this time in the Dakotas and all over the place. It's beautiful in New Mexico. Beautiful.
Saul Williams. The album is Martin Luther King. We're gonna come back. I'd love to get you to do another piece, man, if that's all right.
I'm down with that.
All right, let's take it back. Niggy Tardust.
All right.
Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
Ah, man.
Yeah, everybody has a beginning. There was this, and then there was Jesus. All right, Sway in the morning, 845. Trent Reznor, 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you and Trent Reznor? How did that happen?
Trent saw my video for List of Demands when that came out and asked me to tour with him, opening up for 9 Inch Nails. And after the first show, which was in London, he came backstage and was like, how would you feel about collaborating? I would love to produce a song, an album, whatever you like. I was like, hell yeah, let's go for it. And so then he was like, well, I have a U.S. tour coming up. If I book you on that tour, then I could bring another bus out with a studio on it, and we could record while we're on the road. So I was like, let's go for it. And so we recorded while we were touring, and that's how he listened to the demos that I was preparing for Niggy Tardust and was into it, and we just went from there. And it was a real, I love collaboration. I really love communicating with other artists and bouncing ideas and what have you. And with Trent, it was one of those things where I hardly had to talk. You know what I'm saying? I would throw lyrics his way, and he'd throw beats my way, and then I'd throw beats his way, and he'd come back with guitars over those beats or something. And it was just an exchange. Even if we were just in the next room, we'd still be sending shit to each other and then go in the next room yo, did you hear that? Okay, yo, we should go record that in the morning or whatever.
Yeah. Damn, that's incredible. And that was back in 07-ish,
yeah,
right? 07-ish.
07.
So you're working with Kanye. How was that dynamic? Was it, because it seemed like Yeezus kind of got that Trent Reznor undertone
that's where it came from. I mean, it was when we did the 808 shit, I can't remember if I had come out with Niggy Tardust yet. Yeah, I had, right? I had come out with Niggy Tardust, and so he was asking me about sound and all this stuff, and then asking Trent about lights, where do you get the lighting rigs from and all that stuff. So the tour that he did following that was pretty much, because of the connection he was able to make with people like Trent and also Paul McCartney, who were the only two artists that had that level of sophistication in lighting and sound going on in their arena shows and what have you. And so then working with Kanye was funny. I'll tell you a fucked up story, which is that my first day working with Kanye, I was on a weed fast, right? And so for the year, I was like, I'm on a weed fast. And
For the year?
For the year,
Okay,
I was on a weed fast.
Wait, you just smoke weed and don't eat?
No, I mean, no, the other way
The
around.
other
The other way around, right?
Okay, all right, damn.
But the thing is, right, so I get in there, and it's when he's working with Cudi, right? So I'm in the studio with Kanye and Cudi and a bunch of other cats, and there's Hennessy all over the place. And I'm like, you know what? All these rap videos, I've never actually tasted Hennessy. But I didn't know how to drink it. I'm a wine drinker, so I took a wine glass. And like I treated it like red wine. I had a big thing of Hennessy. Drank that first glass. I was like, it felt like a weed high. I was like, I like this. This is dope, you know?
Yeah.
Pour another glass, wine glass full of Hennessy. This is fresh. Meanwhile, he's playing me stuff that at the time it became, what's the name of the album he did with Jay-Z?
Watch the Throne.
It became Watch the Throne, but initially he was supposed to be producing Jay's next album. So some of those songs that went to Watch the Throne, so he played me some of that stuff, right? And I'm getting excited, like, yo, this is amazing. Da, da, da. You should do this. You should do this. I'm over the board, spilling Hennessy. Then Cudi's like, I'll be right back, and comes back with a 40 of OE, which I hadn't seen in ages. I was like, they still make that? And so he registered my excitement, was like, yo, you gotta share this with me. So he pours me a glass. So I had these 3 glasses of Hennessy, and now I'm drinking this OE. The next thing I remember is I spill it on like the board and on Kanye's Gucci jacket. I'm like, excuse me. And at some point, dude, I'm like in the music, I'm giving ideas like, it's this, it's that, I'll be right back.
Right.
I start heading to the bathroom. I don't even make it there.
Oh, no.
I pass out. And all I remember is like, because people like Christina Milian, all these people are supposed to be coming by the studios. I remember now in retrospect, people stepping over me and just being like, that's Saul Williams. That's Saul Williams. No.
That brown juice will do it every time. Every time.
Yo, I woke up at about 5 a.m. in an empty studio with a note on the board like, yo, we all had to break out, man. I hope you're feeling better.
That's great. Oh, man, what a great story, man.
Yeah,
Saul
man.
Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we just figured we might as well let you relive.
Let's go for it. All right.
There you go. Take that.
Good
swing,
morning.
Saul. One more for the road, baby.
One more.
Now we can have you do this last piece on the way out.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's
Right now, you ready?
We're ready. That's
You
how
ain't
we
ready.
did. I think we're ready.
We
Saul
ready.
Williams, Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5. Listen up.
Let's do it. The name of this song is Think Like They Books Say. Yeah.
Sway in the Morning. Shade
I'm just gonna let it ride for a minute.
Okay. Think like they books say.
Yep. Martin Luther King. Fuck the bullshit, disrupt the system. And of course I produce too, so come at me if you want beats.
Yeah. I like these beats.
Yeah,
Saul Williams.
yeah. Shout out to Neptune Frost. Met this girl on Friday night, Rocky Horror Picture Night, Cuban Sogi karaoke, purple satin bra and tights. That's what I was wearing, she was wearing red and purple light. White smoke had bright hopes, keep hair and straight ghosts. Flow pass and toe pass, we brush hands, I took note. James Baldwin once wrote, love is not remote. Girl, boy, we seek joy, we hurt none, we heart hope. Hey, girl, boy, we seek joy, we hurt none, we heart hope. Girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl. Girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl. Girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl. Shout out to the trans community. Girl, boy, we seek joy, we hurt none, we hot hope. Hope hollow is fear, they say. Sase pa ekli, they say. Tudu mundu nechi mundu pinchi kamilfu, they say. Think black, then think gay. Think like their books say. Think like they think like they think like they books say. They cannot imagine if they do not see it in a book. Even when they see it, it's a book that tell them how to look. Think white, then think straight. Think like their books say. Think like they think like they think like they books say. Met a girl on Friday and I did not see her in a book. Ain't no vulgar Cosmo that can tell me how she supposed to look. She was once a, he was once a argument against her books. Mommy and her daddy loved her, she became the form she took. Think like they books say. They think like they books say. They think like they think like they think like they books say. Think like they books say. Think like they books say. Think like they think like they think like they books say. Truth is not a theory that could be prison in any book. Words are sometimes prison, sometimes prisms from the way you look. Think like they books say. Think like they books say. Think like they think like they think like they books say. Hey, hey, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl. Hey, 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 girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl. Hey, 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 girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl. Hey, 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 girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl, girl, boy, girl. Yeah, Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Think like they books say.
Yeah. Saul Williams. Yeah.
Your influence is all over. I didn't know. I didn't know where it was coming from. Sometimes you could just tell. You hear people doing it and you see people doing it. You could tell it's not authentic, but you didn't know where it came from. And I'm so glad that Sway has this platform to allow artists, spirits, energy, and people like yourself.
Let me just say, it's such a beautiful thing to be here with you all.
Thank you.
You know, there's so many times, mornings I'm home and I'm tuning in, you know, things go viral. People like Papoose and all the Pisceans that rock the spot. And, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, it's like you guys represent a sort of a very necessary energy, because we're not there talking about the nonsense and the gossip as much as you're just like, if you got skills, you better bring it.
Yeah.
If you're going to sit in this chair, you better be prepared, you know? And so I tune in because I know that you're not going to let any nonsense slide when they're here. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was so beautiful for you to have these beautiful people, Heather and Tracy. It's such a wonderfully balanced, you know, community that you've created, and you know, we all respect you so much. I mean, you know, I got a Haitian cab driver on the way here who's like, "Oh, you're on your way to Sway, man. He's a good guy." You know, no, that's the thing. We respect you. We respect you. We love you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and we need you. So thank you you all.
It's mutual, Saul. The respect is mutual. Hey, and we need you.
No doubt.
And these young artists, older artists, all artists need you too.
Well,
we all need you, man. Come on,
you.
Saul Williams, man. That's my brethren
Wow.
right here. Our kids grew up together.
Hit him up, citizens, at Saul Williams. Let him know, man. Let him know.
Yep. Go purchase the album, Martin Luther King, SaulWilliams.com. You can download the lyrics from there. You know.
We got to get you on with Genius.com too.
Yeah.
My man
Definitely.
Rob Markman. You gotta I'm going to hook you up with my man Rob Markman, okay?
Yeah.
Saul Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Get him on a
Martin
Friday
Luther King.
Cypher and have some beats played.
Ooh.
I'm down.
Yeah, those
Let
beats
him
was
play
bananas.
some of those
Don't
beats.
sleep.
Sway.
I don't know these MCs can handle them.
Don't sleep.
How did
Kick
you
'em
put
out.
it? Yeah, high level beats right there. You got to come
Come
skill
on now.
ready, baby.
Don't put me in
be
the
some-
conscious bus, you know, and think that I can't fuck around with these,
No,
you
no,
know,
no, no, no,
hood
no.
niggas. Like, I'm from the hood. Yo, hold up. Shout out to Newburgh, New York, where I'm from.
Okay.
And those of you who don't know, Newburgh, New York is the realest
poppin'.
motherfucking place in New York State. For the past 40 years, you know, this is not what I'm bragging about.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the past 40 years, Newburgh has had the highest murder rate, crime rate, drug trafficking rate in New York State with only 30,000 people. You know, I rep like I do because I'm from one of the realest cities ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we may not be all over the radio or all over whatever, but that's, it's crazy and extremely difficult to make it out of Newburgh.
Yeah.
And so I just want to give a shout out to everybody in Newburgh, New York to say, yes.
That's indeed. Saul Williams.
You can make it out.
That's right.
Up next, Cuba Gooding Jr. is going to join us in about 35 minutes, but up next we got Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
All right, Sway in the morning. You want to talk with Ethan Hawke, 888-742-3345.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shea 45.